Soviets and Soviets, the Red Army, how you all doing? This is Khan Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, today we return to the map of Sianno to see another divisional matchup between the Terrible Divisions tournament. Rang, who are we seeing and with what?
On left hand side in blue, we have Tanner playing 5th SS Viking Division with a balanced or flatline income, and on the right hand side you have Plague of Rat playing as 184th with a flatline income.
So, Mr. Skaven over here at the 184th, before we were getting started, I definitely kind of denigrated the 184th as not necessarily falling into the whole kind of terrible side of things. Do you agree or disagree with my thoughts?
I disagree, but to be fair, I also disagree with 5th SS Viking being a terrible division.
Yeah.
It's arguably one of the better Panzer divisions. But how the tournament works is that the other person gets to pick 4 divisions that the other people have to play. So it's your opponent's interpretations of what a terrible division is. So each their own.
I know definitely something that kind of is going to be helpful to a lot of our viewers. So I know we didn't get too far into the rules behind this, and there's definitely been people that have had their own interpretations about what is good and what is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the firefight's getting quickly fierce over here in the center, and this is going to get rather hot as... Yeah, wow. It's a lot of napalm. A lot of napalm.
Yeah, it's a very, fierce, a very fierce fight for that central position town. I did like how Tanner did bring out that immediate mortar half-track to try to get some smoke play, but ain't gonna work out for him as Plague of Rats is gonna get into the city.
Rather easily, too. With the, oh my gosh, what's it, BA-7s over here? Yeah, BA-10s, excuse me. And the Steward sitting in close support, and with one of the Pak-38s already picked off. Vikings definitely going to be behind the 8-ball a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually surprised by the almost timid positioning of the troops to the north. Half-tracks in close support, but nowhere near the front line. Looks like guys are just content to slug it out over here along this arterial.
Yeah, it's quite funny, because usually when we see this map being played, the northern side is just in flames where everyone's doing the pushing, but right now, today, it's all coming on along the center axis.
It absolutely seems to be. But...
Got the sniper That's a lot of snipers being brought in. Yeah. We got more BA-10s, so... I mean, it's not heavily armored force, and I think once the C-34 comes in, Plague of Rats is going to have a nasty time in the center.
Now, the funny thing for me is that I always forget that the Viking gets to bring in the Berg Panther with a 20 mil cannon. It's so much fun. I wish more guys actually were given the Berg Panther, the Recovery Panther, basically.
Yeah.
Regrettably, that is not the case. It's basically I kind of feel like it was almost like a Bradley version over here from the Wehrmacht side.
Oh, it's just like a recovery vehicle.
Yeah.
I think the reason we don't see other recovery vehicles is that no one else decided to stick a 20mm cannon on theirs.
That we know of. BA-10s and the Stewards are going to find themselves desperately outmatched, and very lucky in both cases that this T-3045 doesn't quite see its targets just yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to see some sparks of life over here to the north. Pains and Grenadiers moving up to some more aggressive positions. Not a lot of firepower being levied in either direction, but I think that's going to change very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, getting into the church is definitely helps you out in a 5-5 if that does happen. But at the same time, Tanner probably doesn't want to move up any closer. I mean, he doesn't know it, but yeah, there's a bunch of flamethrowers in that town.
That is true. Ooh, T-34.
And seem to be some shirts.
Yes, I'll say T-34 and the M42s are engaging. I'll say the T-34 had to worry. He had to be super concerned, and that's why, despite the fact that the armor technically can't get penetrated, there's still being more than enough criticals, and he got critted out. So, well done over there to the 45.
Yeah.
And to the north, I expect we're going to see some soft, aggressive plays. We see 3 more Stewards being brought on in, and a moderately aggressive posture. A couple more Strokies down to the middle side? Yes, actually we see another push down the southern arterial. Not sure how much I agree with the disbursement of it, but I like the idea nonetheless.
Yeah, he's bringing them in for... Wait, where's There we go. Yeah, it's definitely been very ballsy of the stroke. He's trying to go onto the hill, and he also bringing in a very early ISG 122. You only get like a single one of them in A phase per card, so you only get 2 cards of him. So it's a very ballsy maneuver, but it might pay off, especially on a map like this in this like central southern region, where it really just comes down to who has the biggest gun. Having a 122mm gun pretty much makes you win all engagements.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a rather definitive statement, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it right now. Berg Panther just went down just super, super quick. And indeed, the 45mm might go down, but it's not really the biggest loss. I mean, he did have a very valuable kill, but all of these stewards, I think, have much more flexible tactical options in the rather slow single position.
I do like how aggressive he is trying to get onto the enemy ridgeline. It's always a very hard maneuver to do because there's a lot of open ground between you and the enemy. But right now, early on A phase, Tanner doesn't have a lot of armor to really counter us, and Plague of Rats bringing in all the armor early on to try and make his push happen.
Yeah, I'll tell you what he does have though. This Pack 38s have been especially deadly.
Mm-hmm. It's in a pretty good position, but it's getting picked off now.
Well, to the north we had that reinforced Stuart platoon. As you can check up there to the north right now, you'll see that we have a couple of burning pyres where Stuarts once lay. Rather devastating indeed. And could we see a kill on this napalm? Yeah, we're definitely going to see that. Jeez, yeah. A lot of firepower invested into it.
Yeah, the J-88 may not be the most nimble of fighter aircraft, but when they get behind something, it dies.
Also, forgive me as I watch the Berg Panther over here as it tries to engage these Superiors and just murk them. As you might expect.
Mm-hmm.
This ranks up there is now...
Are just holding...
Sorry, I was just going to watch this. The Stuart starts to come under fire from the anti-air positions. Probably won't ever get an actual kill here, but it's mildly amusing to watch as the Earth explodes.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be at Stuart, but he seems to be fine.
He's a plucky sword.
Mm-hmm. I'll dance a little bit in fire, have a bit of fun with that, but here comes the ISU, and yeah, it's a pretty good way to make an anti-aircraft gun go away.
Bizarrely enough, though, he's engaged in the half-track, it looks like. No, he... Oh, what?!
Oh!
That's a beautiful long-distance shot by that T-34-85.
Yep, and the flank for the Pak-38 as well. Definitely a pretty useful... That's a really good kill knocking out the ISU, because the problem is with 184th is you don't really get that much armor. There's no T-34s, it's just Stuarts, Valentines, and a few ISUs. And maybe a Lee here and there. Which isn't going to be a lot. You can make it work on this map, because on the hillside you can just pluck down 1 million and run anti-tank guns for defensive purposes. But right now, Plague of Rats is taking more of an aggressive mindset.
Yeah, it's understandable though too. Not for nothing, but I feel like Viking gets more and more potent weapon systems the longer the game goes on. Maybe not more of them per se, but I feel like pound for pound they're much more terrifying.
They definitely got much more armor, which will help out a lot in a match like this. Because even just like regular Stugs, they don't even need the Panthers or Tigers. They can pretty much just make do with the Stugs and Panzers and the Egg Panzers and capture T-30-45s and a boatload of infantry that Viking gets because it has a lot of infantry for Panzer Grenadier or Panzer Division.
I'd like to point out the fact that a Stuart just got taken out by a Flak 43.
Oh, finally.
And meanwhile, all of this Russian infantry is just getting dominated by air power.
Mm-hmm.
Does not seem to matter, like 37 mils. Probably lose one of the Ju-88s. Holy Moses, those things are more durable than I thought. Huh.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be very critical for Tanner at this moment to try and kick Plague of Rats off this hill. And that seems to be what will be going down here. As with the ISU down and a lot of the armoured forces, Plague of Rats can't really do too much. So he is bringing in a 122mm field gun very close to the front lines. I feel like he's using it as a makeshift anti-tank piece.
Wait a second. Are you sure that this wasn't, in fact, supposed to be signaling for aid? I feel like this is more like asking Rohan for help here. There's a line of signal fires, burnt out tanks along the crest of this.
Someone's going to see it.
So there's a bit of a long walk there that got away from me in the beginning. But, yeah, Stokes over here in the close support. This is not going to be a pretty setup. And I think that 122 mil is going to go down pretty fast.
Yeah. It's a pretty scary anti-tank gun, artillery gun, so to speak, but out in the open, completely exposed, you can just mortar it, and Tanner does have that mortar half-track available to him.
True. Well, 37 mils getting picked off. You cannot, at this point, you can't lose those either. This has been a big, big piece of Plague of Rats' way of keeping P.UriTanner over here at arm's length.
Yeah. And he is keeping up the pressure. Along the southern edge of the ridge, he is moving out a bunch of tank Teshnitki to try to get him, but I don't really feel like this is going to work. Tanner really has a good, defensive network set up now, and to eventually do a counter push. And I really do commend Plague of Rats for doing this, because 184th is not the division you do A-phase rushes with at all, but he made it work initially, but with the lackluster equipment with 184th, it's very hard to keep it going. Now, he does have a second ISU being brought in, so taking the B-phase cards, once again, don't have a lot of those ISUs, but maybe he can make it count.
Here's I was watching as Pack 40 gets rushed into the fray down to the south. And there's smoke going up, so it looks like it'll be a stay of execution for those half-tracks retreating down the ridgeline. But they ain't lasting long, I'll tell you that much.
Nope.
Northern Strelkovy's coming in the other direction. Yikes. It's one pick off.
Pretty good Pack 40 position, yeah.
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 It's pretty good. It's not perfect.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Even though, Plague of Rats has been very aggressive, hasn't really paid off for him in points, because it's been a trove, pretty neck on neck throughout entirety of A-phase. Plague of Rats actually losing in terms of capture points, so it's really not looking good for him now, as we're seeing Tanner set up a lot of infantry and a lot of tanks.
Well, somebody is verfing some Flamen down to the south, but I dare say it will not be Flamening long. Nope.
The J-38 comes in and finishes off whoever was alive.
And while it's taken many, many lives from these attacking P-Grunts, and thank goodness Niki are finally being forced back off the ridge, Pack 40 has been killed. I think Plague of Rats correctly deduced that was the major contributor to this kind of resurgent play down to the south. Very unlucky, actually, the smoke was as good as it was.
Yep, and you got even more shock troop after Machikis being brought in to try and get back on that ridgeline, but I feel like he's going to be able to get onto here, because there's no anti-tank down south to actually stop those half-tracks from getting in close, but I feel like it is playing for Plague of Rats. His best bet might be just trying to set up a defensive line in the town and on his side of the ridge, because I think this is going to break soon. Very soon.
No, if I was him, I would try to be building up some sneaky kind of tank play on the absolute northern edge of the map. You have some infantry still, you have a decent amount of kind of support material. Don't run it through just yet, just let it bide your time, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, build up some stuff over there. Make a big show of forcing the south, and this is exactly where Tanner's going to throw all of his material. And then just sucker punch.
Yeah.
Forgive me now, I have to watch as your theorized punch from the Automachikis, how that kind of goes. I think you're absolutely right. The P-Grunts down here, no anti-tank whatsoever. We might get a Ju-88? No, there's no Ju-88 to be found. The Automachikis are going to dump out, and here comes 4 squads of them. It's going to be absolutely devastate these southern defenders.
Yeah, though to be fair for the Panzer Grenadiers, they do have 3 Salvation thanks to the command change, so maybe, just maybe, they're going to be able to hold out just to see a veterancy alone.
No, that just means they'll surrender slower. It doesn't mean they're going to actually... And I say that with absolutely no rancor or sarcasm really implied, but, like, it's 4 squads, the PPSHs, the PP shells are just going to it's going to be too much.
Yeah. Kind of think... Oh, actually, the Avto's already taken quite a bit of suppressive damage here.
True. That is fair.
But it's... The southern chunk are still alive, and they're still moving.
Well, closer to the center here, we have as these half tracks and Panther D. Try to clean up the last of this Russian infantry there. Yep. You're right. Actually, I sincerely thought the Automachikas were just going to steamroll the Germans to the south, but I was completely incorrect.
Yeah, if he wasn't as suppressed, he probably could have just run up to the Panzer Grenadiers a bit more effectively. Really, his better bet was to just rush the half tracks right up onto the hill and unload right next to the P-Grans, but that was not the case.
Well,
and now he's just going to get artilleried by the mortar half track.
And I was going to say, there's our fabled tube artillery. We talk about these guys all the time. This is why you bring them.
Yep.
When you don't need to waste an entire artillery barrage, but simply must move that infantry out of that forest. Get that red stain out of your forests. Use artillery.
80mm mortar. Yep. High explosive shell show separately.
Exactly. Exactly.
I do like how these Ju-88s come in, but every time they're always too slow to actually catch up to the planes.
I don't know why he's not tubing out the 37 mils and then strafing the ground troops. I feel the Ju-88s, they're not going to be attack fighters. They're not interceptors. Play them what they are. They're ground attack craft. They're there to create some stress. That's it.
Well, that's what he's doing now. He's cycling one of the 37 mils for his mortar half track, and yeah, if he can knock out the anti-air, yeah, his airplanes can just come in and annihilate the day. And just looking at the southern side, there's not a lot here from Plague of Rats. It's just really it was 2 ISU 122s are the scary forces. There's no infantry holding the town.
No, not even remotely.
No.
The Ju-88s, the ones with the 37 mils, I think, correct?
They have a lot of guns. I know. That's all I know. I think I have like 20 mils and 13 mils and
I can't
just lots of mils because they're night fighter runs.
I just couldn't recall. I know the arsenal is really heavy. I know it's like 4 or 5 machine guns plus cannons. I just couldn't remember the.
I think it's like 3 20 mil cannons. We'll see when they come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot the Weiligwerfer. The 21st Panzer Special being brought in.
Oh, the Werfer? Oh, yeah. Yes. It has been so long, my friend. Hello. Also, I love how we have a half-track with a jammed gun. At that point, it's basically just a Studebaker with a thicker skin.
Yeah.
But here comes. The Werfer is going to go and try to engage those anti-air positions. I almost guarantee you that.
Yeah, if he can knock it out, that'll be pretty huge. But once again, like, I mean, it's Trove. Tanner does have time limits on his side, it seems, just in terms of attritional warfare. But now would be a really good time to go down the hill. I mean, one of the ISU is dead. The other ISU is not in the best position.
I mean, he might not know exactly where it is. But he doesn't know exactly where the ISU is.
Yeah.
And now he's got
second Weiligwerfer.
Well, he's got the Valentine's coming to the north as well. So I think we are suddenly going to get a rather slow counterpunch. A couple of Strokies moving on in, unsupported. So this is not going to go well.
Mm-hmm.
More infantry being brought on in. Strokies way behind the front lines. But it seems Tanner has preempted him. We have 4 squads of infantry moving across the line.
Yeah. And it seems that Plague of Rats is going to try and make another push happen on the northern flank, seeing that the southern aggression didn't go that well. But yeah, looking for the Panzer Grenadiers with Panzerfaust being brought in. I don't think his push is going to work too well for Plague of Rats' favour. I mean, he has the Valentines and like an infantry sport gun there. But that's really it for supporting his infantry.
Both sides are trying desperately to isolate and locate the opponent's air power. And indeed, these laps, where the heck are they going? Oh, they're going for the Pack 38, I guess? Okay, that's an interesting decision. I can sort of understand it, but some of the early infantry's already been taken out, so... That was pretty good, though, nonetheless. I have to give him that.
The southern run kind of missed a bit, but knocking out northern run is really the important thing here.
As I barely saw it, so it's 20 mils, and I didn't see the amount of machine guns it has for the Ju-88. Panthers are on the field, though, so not for nothing, that's the moment when I start to kind of wet myself in terror as a Russian tanker.
Yeah, especially if you're a Russian tanker and a Valentine. Not the type of opponent I want to go up against.
No. No. Now, the first wave of Russian infantry will offload, and they'll see some early progress here, but it's not going to be consistent.
Nope. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good initial push, like you mentioned. But maybe this might work for Plague Rats, because the northern side is a little bit more dense, it's a little bit more forestry, so he can use his anti-tank guns and Valentines and defensive manner to try and hold. We'll have to see.
420 mils, 113 mil.
Okay, that's a lot of DACA.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And Wiederfachwerfer, if I were him, yep, he's bringing the Wiederfachwerfers up to the north. That's going to backstop and slow down this push.
Mm-hmm.
That's the right call. That's absolutely the right call.
Yeah, Plague Rats has continued aggression. Once again, I'm still so surprised Tanner hasn't tried to make something happen down south, because it is just barren. I feel like Tanner's definitely, he's playing more of a defensive, like just posture, because Plague Rats has really been going on the offensive so far. So Tanner's just been trying to plug in the holes.
Certainly seems to be. Where is those barrages? The barrages are going to be a long time coming.
Yeah.
But the second that they are, this entire push is dead.
Yeah, and we're seeing the tube artillery with the mortar half-tracks, so just keeping a lot of infantry suppressed. Once again, guys, mortar half-tracks, always take him.
Doesn't hurt to have a Flak 38 there either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just how choke pointy that flank is. And with the armored support taking a day and a half to get here, the Strelky can't really do too much just by themselves.
Here it comes. Any second now. Why are you holding fire? Guys.
I think it's something like Shinkit.
Maybe, but Bubula. Guys, you're shooting.
He's aimed.
Yes, he is. You will never get a better time to shoot than now.
I do like the strategy of actually putting them on the hold fire to
Here we go.
aim them up. But here we go. It's so rare to actually see rocket artillery being used in Steel Division 2.
But it did exactly what it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
We fired 16 rounds, shut down 2 portions of it. He closed out basically the support tab completely. And he's got his own troops rushing on in. This is absolutely brilliant by comparison.
Valentine, so finally get into position and finally get killed.
And then smoke.
Sucks, yeah.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, Tanner. This is beautiful to watch. This is combined arms warfare. This is how you do it. Yeah, the Panda Grenadiers coming in, all the Russian infantry pretty much pinned down. And, soften them up a little bit more, some high explosives. Yeah, this is pretty much textbook in how you do it here, guys. Like, this is extremely well handled. I am very impressed. Well done. Yeah. But, of course, one push does not a match make. That's up to the servers to do. Mm-hmm. And looking back to the south, I agree with you. I think that this is a missed opportunity. But I can't help but wonder if, like you said, if Tanner is just kind of wetty, rope-a-doping, He'll get knocked around for 25 minutes if he can take you out in the last 15. More Bioflak from material looking for the 37 mils. Will crush a couple of the crews pretty hardcore. No
Holy
kills.
crap.
Ooh.
Oh, that's brutal. That was pretty brutal.
And now we have another one of the 85 mils over here as well. So, not quite as scary in my mind as the 37 mils, but that's just the whole suppression table, which is a little bit different overall.
Yeah. No, you're correct. Like, the heavy flat guns are... The heavy flat guns like icing on a cake. Like, the 37mm is like the actual core of the cake, the actual inside part, which actually matters. But you can't just eat icing by itself unless you want to feel sick.
True. True.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm also kind of enjoying, too, we for so long, the Wiertwagwerfer, pardon me as I watch this 45 mil probably take out this Stug. Oh, it doesn't bounce, jeez. For so often we watched tube artillery kind of go and blow its load entirely, trying to take out a tiny target. I really like it when people are discriminate about their investment, shall we say.
Yeah. The Wiertwagwerfer is pretty nice that it has a lot of ammunition.
Yes.
I think it holds more rockets than the Katusha. It definitely looks like it because it is a massive rack of rockets, yeah. But it is pretty useful just for, you know, a small little barrage, and 100 points, which is reasonable for like the amount of ammo you get.
So super heavy barrage coming back to the north from Plague of Rats, and Plague of Rats is desperately trying to take a 152 artillery piece and barrage the other direction for this Panther. I think we're seeing another one of those TOT barrages you're talking about, though.
Yeah, 280 mil off map, so that will be pretty deadly here. And both sides actually investing a bit more in artillery, like you said. Plague of Rats at a run 52, but Tanner bringing in a run 05 of his own, so we're actually seeing on-map artillery field howitzers being used. This is... like, guys, this isn't how you play run v1s, what the hell?
It may not be, but you know what? It's definitely a hell of fun for me to kind of observe, because we're so used to kind of like that very defined and polished push through. Ooh, the 280 off map comes into the north. That hurts.
That's brutal.
But it doesn't do much better the other directions. The tube artillery comes in, just completely shatters the morale of that Strelky.
Yeah.
Oof.
And here comes all the German air power to try and get some strafings as all the anti-air's mostly pinned down. Kills the 85, and God, I really like how Tanner's using his artillery. Like, he times it perfectly.
Maybe he was like a veteran from the First World War or something. Like, he's...
Yeah.
Alright, boys, at 11:02, we unleash hell. Like...
Here comes the creeping barrage. Oh, look at a half-track up north. He's just chasing down the Stug. Keeping him pinned with a 50.
Yeah, but there's a flak track right there, so here it comes.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. And she's gonna chunk it out.
Yeah.
There we go.
And the airplane, yeah. Just debated into a trap.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I do. I get my Stugs nice and freaked out so that way I can pull back into a flak track.
It's always about the hidden flak track, you know. This is what the constant artillery knocking out this 37mm gun here with the mortar. I don't know, I think that's the 105s and the mortar half tracks just pounding away. Yeah.
Yes.
Good combination, but once again another scary off-map artillery from Plague of Rats on the like northern town position.
Mm-hmm.
But really follow through with a push.
It does devastate the front lines. But oh my gosh, he's got an entire company of tube artillery back here. The Wiertwagwerfer is targeting the center of town, expecting some sort of push. Oh man.
Yeah.
Kind of funny thing, down south we have B-810s, they have a half track, and we have that jammed half track who's still chilling on the front lines. Panther D coming into the south, so I think we're going to start seeing an armored push go the other direction.
Yeah.
A couple of half tracks as a plate of armor in the front.
Got the German air power once again being brought in. I don't think a LA5 is going to be long in for this road.
Nope. And the Ju-88 was the one to take it out.
Yeah, surprise.
Terribly so.
Got another off-map artillery being brought in from Plague of Rats. Just trying to stave off Tanner's aggression up north.
Can we talk about the one poor P-Gren squad? I'm sorry, who's taking fire from 8 Strelky squads?
Oh. Oh, he'd be fine. He wasn't fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tube Artillery's trying to push them back a little bit, and I can't help but feel... Yeah, it's over open ground, too. This is going to be timed almost perfectly. Yep. Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God. That
can't be that accurate.
That would have been terrifying in any other circumstance.
Mm-hmm. And all being dropped down at the exact same time. Yeah, that was, it was really clutch artillery barrage there, because only 2 Strelkies meant to get into the town.
Now, it was slightly diminished by nuking his own troops with the Wiederfachwerfer, but he realized the whole green on green quickly enough and definitely pulled that back, so that's good. But here we go, otherwise. Superior is kind of trooping around to the north. We have half-track still in the area. We still have the flak track, and behind we have flak 20 mils. I mean, a lot of scary stuff getting built up over here on the western side.
Mm-hmm. We're also seeing a little bit of relocation of Tanner's artillery, moving a little bit down south. I think that's just to try to, you know, counter any counter barrages that could come his way. And that's the nice thing about having mobile artillery units. You can just move wherever you want.
Kind of a weird concept to be able to move wherever you want.
I know, right? You want to move to open field? Drive over here. The forest? Sure. The front line? Well, if you're suicidal, go ahead, but no one's stopping you.
Oh, T-345 engaging. Wow. When you get the full attention of Focke-Wulfs and 37 mils and everything, yeah, you're not making it out.
Yeah. And they're seeing more of a build-up down south here from Tanner, but no actual push. And I'm actually also really surprised that Plague of Rats hasn't bothered bringing any infantry into that, like, southern town on the strip. There's just anything to hold it, but it's just completely barren apart from an ISU and a 37mm who's probably very confused about why he's here.
And a man with a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I also kind of love seeing these BMW bikes. Normally we see them as just being, oh my god, I have nothing left, what the hell do I throw on the front lines? But, we're seeing some rather significant investment here as to kind of continue to have those radio chains building up all over the western flanks.
Yeah.
Strelky push, by the way, is renewed with the face of Ognamachiki. I think the forced Wiederfachwerfer redeployment. Interesting. They're looking for that 122. Didn't quite think it was that devastating. I would have focused my attention more on the infantry to the north.
Yeah, because Plague of Rats is pushing through the northern town here with his flame troops. And actually bringing in a few more Valentines, which will eventually arrive in the battlefield in 10 minutes or so. And just another 37mm goes down. Tanner's been very aggressive in trying to knock out any and all anti-air.
Well, the 122, shockingly enough, is going to be just the recipient of almost an entire... You know, essentially the rockets have an entire barrage. Wow, no, he does get an entire barrage.
Yeah. All of that for little old me.
Yeah, he must feel quite honored.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm waiting to see them...
Very dead.
I'm waiting to see them target this collection of tube and flak to the south. That would be a little more important to me. Shellac that hillside, and I wonder if that's going to be the next...
Here we go, finally. We're seeing the Pushkan.
Oh yeah, he is
20 minutes late,
crazy.
But he's finally moving across that goddamn southern flank, and as you can see, it's like the start of Operation Barbarossa here. It's just flat open ground, ready for taken.
Yeah, this looks like the beginning of the Bastogne attack, you know, just before all the troops kind of get... Yikes, JU-88 goes down.
Yeah. Would they go down into the anti-air? No. I was hoping for him to maybe take down someone else with him, but...
I was thinking that too, actually. I was trying to follow that for a moment. Wiederfachwerfer, though, here comes the artillery. He's going to get pounded. But we also are going to see, what, 7 squads of Strelkies coming on in?
That's a lot of Strelky, but they're a little bit late, because there could have been 7 Strelky defending the town rather than having to attack the town.
I completely agree with you, and there's something oddly terrifying. Just, change your camera during a Vielfachwerfer barrage.
Like zoom in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just seeing all those rockets and the streams coming at you. It's not exactly reassuring, unless you're on the other end.
No, exactly.
Seeing it go towards the enemy.
Exactly. There's not a whole lot of rocket spread glare here. In fact, there's just a lot of body parts in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And up to the north, by the way, just to double check and see how that's going. The Valentines are on the front lines, but for Lord knows how long. I can't think it's going to be for too long here. Yep. Some more kills going in. And Tanner is just playing a very Montgomery style of assault here.
Yeah. Pretty reserved. I mean, he got into the central town position, and there he's just really holding it.
Well, that's the funny thing, is that I think that a lot of our players are so eager to kind of push in for that quick kill, they're kind of afraid to go the distance.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the 126th here, you can't go... Sorry, 184th. I'm sorry, 126th was a couple days ago here. But the 184th, you can't go and be over-aggressive, because you know you're not going to win the infantry numbers fight. You're just not. I'm sorry. So you have to exhaust them. You have to play from a distance. You can't get close enough to allow all of these little rinky-dink, heat grenades and things like that.
Yeah, 184th is definitely a more... It's a very slow and steady infantry division.
Mm-hmm.
As we saw how Plague of Rats played him with the initial aggressive push, it worked really well initially, but you just do not have the tank equipment to really keep up. Really, you just want to have a support line set up of anti-tank guns and support guns, backing up big infantry pushes that slowly but surely take one position after another.
Indeed.
You really do need those anti-tank guns, and you really need support, is what I'm saying.
Mayhaps we consider going to speed this up a little bit at times too.
Sure.
Not to take it away from the kind of victory that Tanner seems to be trying to put himself towards here, but yes, that kind of very considered push. How about 3745, sir?
Yep.
All right. 2, 1, and picking it up. So as you can see right here, folks, again, artillery consistently going through. This is probably the most supply trucks I think I've seen in the last, 3 or 4 weeks of replays combined.
Yeah, it is, actually. We never actually see as much artillery being used.
And to the north, by the way, it seems like Plague of Rats is... I'm not going to say he's got a death wish, but his troops are being sent in unsupported as Valentine tanks. The last remaining Valentine tanks are getting taken out. And indeed, he's bringing more and more Strelky, but to what end?
Yeah, Strelky's by themselves are pretty rubbish. They were just here to hold ground. And then for your other dude to actually do the shooting.
And I can't just say also, I love these 3 mortar half-tracks just kind of bouncing from place to place. And once again, he's holding fire. He's going to be getting ready to prep them. And I don't know, this might be a lucky thing for Plague of Rats. I don't think the mortars are going to be engaging that position just when the infantry's passing through.
Yeah.
But it's going to be awful close here.
They're going after the anti-air gun, and that's another 37mm to get it down. Allowing these fuckerals and G88 to fly around willy-nilly.
Indeed. And while some of the artillery barrage is going the other direction, was that 122? 152? 152. I don't know that there's enough there that's going to keep them on par.
Yeah, it's really for Tanner now. It's just getting through the infantry hordes. It isn't hard when you got the support of artillery backing you up.
Well, certainly not when the mortars are taking out 3 or 4 guys per salvo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the things that we kind of don't talk on too much, even as we discuss the merits of tube artillery. It's generally better in 2s and 3s. If you can manage a platoon or like a small section's worth, the inherent inaccuracy tends to kind of make up for, gets made up for by numbers. So
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a bit more costly to do that rather than just getting your standard off map artillery piece. But as we're seeing here, you can just delete something immediately if you have 3 artillery guns pointing at the same position. And just being able to constantly do that, if you're just on top of your artillery game, can be a pretty huge game changer as we're seeing here. Especially against a division like 184th, where all their real powerhouse units, apart from the ISUs, are just soft targets.
yes. Yes. And down to the south, we are seeing some Superiors and Strokies being brought back in a desperate bid to take back this town. They're outnumbered 5-1, 6-1, 7-2. Like, these are not easy win situations.
Nope. Yeah, the Panzer Grenadiers in the defensive position, they pretty much win an infantry fight against Strokies.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 2 MGs, it's really difficult to fight that.
Yeah. Especially the Strokey DP nerf 184th was hit pretty hard by that.
Certainly was. If you look like Refers, one's up. I think the other one is deceased. Yeah, I think the other one died here.
Huh, must have been counter barrage.
Which, I mean, again, the amount of utility from those guys, probably not a ton of kills per se, like squad wipes. The amount of utility these guys have had has been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, just to suppress them alone has been pretty good.
ISU to the north has been taking out the occasional Panther, by the way, to see the first burning carcass to the northern side of that small lake.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
A high cost. A very high cost. I've seen quite a few Panthers being go down. Oh yeah, I've got the ISUs. There's still a few more in Plague of Ratch arsenal.
Well, the mildly amusing thing is that we have... Well, artillery barrage comes in. That's not so much mildly amusing. But the Ju-88s are robust enough that they're able to get shot consistently and still make it out even through ground fire. Which has just been surprising to me. I always feel like JU series stuff should be dead so much quicker.
I think because it's like a medium bomber, it has like pretty... Well, I mean, it is a bomber, used as a fighter, so it has pretty good resilience. But also, actually, it's secretly also a very good ground support airplane because it has 4 20mm cannons.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really go wrong with that Stacker.
True. But another one bites the dust here. We are seeing... Yeah, this has got to be a tap out soon. There's nothing, I think, that really can be come back the other direction.
Yeah. There's just so much stuff on Tanner's side. And a lot of artillery. I mean, mainly just a lot of artillery. And infantry, and tanks, and air power. Just a lot of everything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm hoping that they don't try to use a... Yep, okay. I was hoping they weren't going to use a Panzerfaust on that off-map call-in. I know it seems kind of ridiculous to even be concerned about that, but you hate to see the wasteful amount of ordnance on that.
Mm-hmm. And there we go. There's the tap out.
So guys, it was a long one. Kills definitely tell you that it got pretty crazy, and apparently Tanner is a Stanley Kubrick fan. We have Dr. Strangelove over here in all of his black and white glory. Massive amount of death in this match.
Yeah. Death and destruction all side. And I think, definitely for like Plague of Rats, he definitely lost a lot of his stuff, I believe, in the later stages. Yep. Yeah, just looking at the chronology, it's very red at the end. There are some Panther losses, which are also pretty big.
Early 85, though, does manage to pick off one of the first ones. 1, 2, 3 Stewards, 3 BA-10s, and an ISU 122. So, I mean, we're getting some heroes like that. And never mind, mortar half-track.
Whoa.
3 anti-air positions. So we know he had his brothers on that. But regardless... Just some real strong artillery play, and I think that really sealed the deal in many different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I also, like we said at the start of the match, I mean, with how this division tournament works, 5th SS Viking is not a bad division. It's one of the best in the game. I don't know why you'd pick this to be a bad division, because it's very good, as we can see. I mean, it's up to the opponent to pick the other person's divisions, of course, but I think that's definitely in the future. Don't give your opponent the option of the FSS.
No, it was a very brave decision, but unfortunately, it seems that Plague of Rats will see himself head off to Valhalla because of it. Now, speaking of Plague, by the way, the folks, as you know, outside of SD material, I posted an announcement about this a few weeks back. I actually have a book coming out tomorrow. Not saying that I'm expecting you guys to go out and check it out, but if you do like some history stuff at the same time, Black Death, Austria, 17th century, it's pretty damn cool if I can say so myself. But besides all that, a heck of a game coming here from Sir Plague of Rats, a heck of a game from Tanner, and honestly, I hope we see more from these guys.
Yeah, and check out Khan's book.
Actually, I know Rangak's getting a copy of it actually a little bit. I think a couple of weeks come through. But folks, thank you so much for always coming out with us. Until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.